Let's say Syracuse beats Georgia Tech on Saturday, which I think they will. Will the Orange be ranked?
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and we're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And on this week's Poll Friday, I asked you guys the question, if Syracuse beats Georgia Tech tomorrow, will the Orange be ranked? And the results are in. There were 529 total votes on Twitter and on YouTube. The three choices were not ranked, top 21 to 25, or top 20 or better for this team. And once again, results are in. Not ranked, won with about 64% of the vote. Top 21 to 25 was 33%, and top 20 or better was a very small 3%. And I agree with the 64% of you guys that if Syracuse beats Georgia Tech on Saturday, which again, I think they will, I don't think the Orange are going to be ranked. At least that's how I'm feeling right now in this moment. Now, the reasoning, there's a few factors into this. Georgia Tech comes in the Dome. They are the 23rd ranked team in the country. So logic would suggest that if you beat a ranked team, then you should be ranked as well because Syracuse would be 2-0, right? Except that's not really exactly how it works. All right. First off, I am a little bit surprised that Georgia Tech is in the top 25. Not to disrespect them, not to call them a bad football team or anything, but the AP poll came out on Tuesday, which was after Florida State had lost to Boston College. And they didn't just lose to Boston College. They got blown out at home to Boston College. So all of a sudden, Georgia Tech's week 0 win in Ireland, it doesn't really look as impressive because Florida State might just be terrible. So I am a little bit surprised that Georgia Tech, which beat Florida State and beat Georgia State, is a top 25 team, especially after Florida State lost to Boston College and are now 0-2. So they don't really have that impressive victory yet like we all thought they were going to have after week 0. Secondly, Syracuse did not receive a single vote for the top 25 in the AP poll. Now, in the coaches poll, they got 1 vote. But in the AP poll, which is what we're discussing here, they got 0 votes. So that is already a tall task to be ranked after 1 week when you were unranked the previous week and you didn't get any votes. It is a far climb, and considering that Syracuse is at home and are only 2.5-point underdogs, I don't know if a win against Georgia Tech would be enough to catapult them all the way into the top 25. Now, I think if they win in whatever fashion, they'll certainly get votes for the top 25, but I don't know if they'll get enough votes to be inside of the top 25. So once again, I agree with the majority of you. It was about 64% that said that Syracuse, if they beat Georgia Tech, will still not be ranked. Now, coming up, there is a little bit of a contingent with what I am saying. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Fuel up with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Head to factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 and use code LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code LockedOnCollege50 at factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Once again, there is a contingent about Syracuse and if they're not ranked, assuming they beat Georgia Tech on Saturday. I think most people believe that this is going to be a close game, at least from what the comment section has said on this channel. Most people are predicting a relatively close game and a lot of points. However, if Syracuse does blow out Georgia Tech, and I'm talking like 20 to 30 points. I had someone comment that they think Syracuse is going to win 45-14, and I wish I shared your optimism. I don't necessarily see it going that way. But if that were to happen, if Syracuse does blow them out, they win 45-14, that could catapult them into the top 25. That could be a big enough jump because you beat a ranked team by 30 plus. So if they blow out Georgia Tech, then maybe they'll be ranked. Actually, if they blow them out, they'll be ranked. But if it's anywhere in the balance, anywhere close, like most of us think, they will not be in the top 25. At least that's my opinion and what 64% of you guys said on this week's Poll Friday. Syracuse is also facing a little bit of a reputation battle. All right, we have to accept that. The last time Syracuse was ranked after week 2. After week 2, okay, so directly after it, was in 1998. That was when Donovan McNabb was a starting quarterback for Syracuse football. Let that sit in for a second. 1998. That's a long time. That's 26 years. That's the last time Syracuse was ranked after 2 weeks. For reference, because I know you guys might say, well, they were ranked after. I mean, directly after week 2. In 2022, Syracuse wasn't ranked until they were 5-0. 5-0. In 2019, Syracuse was ranked in the top 25 in the preseason poll and after week 1. But we don't talk about what happened in week 2. Let's just say, nicely, they weren't ranked after what happened in week 2 in 2019. And if you're so curious, after you're done watching or listening to this podcast, you can go look Syracuse football in 2019 and what exactly happened the second week of the season. I'm not going to mention it. It wasn't pretty, okay? And in 2018, which is the last time that Syracuse football won 10 games in the season, the Orange weren't ranked until they were 6-2. In other words, history suggests that in order for the national media to really start buying into Syracuse as a top 25 team, they got to go minimum 4-0. And I think if they do go 4-0 with their schedule, the fact that they would have 2 conference wins already, I think they would be in the top 25. Certainly if they start the season 5-0. Because if they start the season 5-0 this year, that's a win against Georgia Tech. That's 2 conference wins overall because they play Stanford after. And then week 5, or not really week 5, but game 5 for them is at UNLV, which is one of the better group of 5 teams out there right now. So Syracuse would be ranked after 5 weeks if they are 5-0. But I don't think it's going to happen this soon. It usually will take the selection committee or whoever just decides to rank these teams. It usually takes them at least a month before they give Syracuse any consideration for the top 25. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this video, click that like button. And if you really liked it, subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you know right away when I am dropping the next podcast. I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Poll Friday, which always releases at 6 p.m.